So it's time to talk about this new mobile app called Myne Lend. Jamaica's fintech space is expanding. Myne Lend is actually a digital wallet that combines microlending and tap to pay solutions. So here to tell us all about Myne Lend are CEO Elson James, as well as General Manager and Vice President of Flow Jamaica, Stephen Price. Welcome, Elson. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, Khalil. Thanks for having us.
All
Thanks,
right, so
Kalia.
before we get into the conversation, tell us a little bit about yourselves, starting with you, Elson, because you're new to the show and you're probably new to the Jamaican public.
Probably, but not new to the show. So I'm a fan of you, and I've been following you on social media. So good to be on the show. So my name is Elson James. I hold a couple of hats within the JMMB world. So firstly, I am the CEO of JMMB Express Finance here in Trinidad and Tobago. That's the consumer finance or micro lending arm of JMMB. We started first here in Trinidad. I also hold the hat of the Financial Inclusion Group Financial Lead. So I am also in charge of GMMB's focus of financial inclusion across the region. And then finally, with this new joint venture, I hold the position of CEO for Myne Lend, which we're here to speak about this evening.
And Stephen?
Okay, I'm Stephen Price. I am the Vice President and General Manager of Flow Jamaica, combined companies of Cable and Wireless Jamaica and Columbus Communications Jamaica. I've been in the industry about 22 years, bounced around a couple of telecoms companies. I'm in charge of just the delivery of the revenue and P&L for the Jamaica business. I'm a vice president that sits at the centralized company in terms of cable and wireless communications, looking over almost 20 markets right across the region. So it's a great opportunity, and we're happy to be here and happy to be a part of this venture.
So whose brainchild is this? Tell us the story of how Myne Lend came to be.
I think it's from the perspective, Liberty Latin America, our parent company, really saw that, how do we get into the business of financial inclusion in terms of seeing what was happening across Latin America and the Caribbean. We looked for the areas of friction within the markets. Jamaica was, what we call the center of the Caribbean. Elson, don't beat me with that. Right? but we decided that Jamaica was the first place that we wanted to test this on. We saw that there was friction between how ordinary citizens of the country, the unbanked, were able to access credit within the country. And I think that we said that this is a prime market that we could really address that friction with technology. And we came into this with a wonderful partner in the name of JMMB, as well as Visa. And we really said, okay, let's go for it. And Myne Lend was born.
Okay, so how does it work? What does it do? Let's get into the details. Elson.
Sure. So just as you're saying, it is that joint venture between Flow, JMMB, and a fintech organization named MindHub. And for us, it's absolutely revolutionary. Not just revolutionary for Jamaica, but revolutionary, I think, for the Caribbean. So more or less, clients or potential clients out there will receive an invitation at this point in time from Flow, and using some of the tele data, we're able to review and make a credit decision for a micro loan. That micro loan is going to be put onto a digital wallet, powered by Visa. And then clients can use that digital wallet to shop anywhere Visa is accepted. Tap and pay, cash out, all within the realm of 10 minutes. So again, really, really revolutionizing both the microcredit side as well as the way that you use the funds from that micro loan.
So it's both a digital wallet and a lending app?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So I can use it. Let's say I don't need a loan, but I do want to use a digital wallet. I can use it as just a digital wallet?
So at this point in time, no. So at this point in time, in the way that we're launching it, it is first a microcredit loan, and the funds from that is going to be used via the digital wallet. As we expand and we change the product, the use of the wallet will come independently later on. But as of now, it's a combination of both the microcredit loan as well as the use of the digital wallet.
So just to support Elson, Kalilo, I think what's important here is that we saw that there was challenges in the market in terms of the microcredit industry. You know, I think we saw the challenges of high interest rates. We saw the challenges of denials of loans. We saw the fact that there was also those players within the market who weren't necessarily above board in terms of the loan shark kind of industries that were popping up there and there. We wanted to make sure that we created some disruption in the space in order to make sure that this product was available to every Jamaican out there. And using the proprietary credit scoring kind of mechanism, using the payment data, the loan data, all this data from our customers, we are able to really tap into a significant proportion of the population in terms of the unbanked, to really give them access to credit that they never had before, that they never get from the regular formal institutions, that they wouldn't get from some of the micro lending institutions. And as Elson said, we do this in less than 10 minutes. From the application, you can get up to $150,000. And believe me, we believe that it will go like gangbusters in the next couple of weeks.
All right, so you were describing, I think both of you kind of mentioned it briefly about how you are able to approve that loan so quickly. I believe you said that you use payment data for Flow. So if you're a Flow customer, that is part of the information that you're using to make a decision to approve or deny the loan. Is that how it's going to work?
So it's proprietary in terms of the kind of customer data that we've contributed to the platform. Now, what we've been doing over a number of years, we have certain products that we have operating in the space in terms of Flow Lend, which we are giving small micro loans, yes, for credit and services, but that has created a behavioral pattern for customers over a history of years. So we do have probably even better than some of the credit bureaus, a history of how customers react, how customers deal with microloans over the history, how they pay their bills, how they respond to their payment patterns in terms of all of these things. So these have contributed to the data, and also how they interact with Myne Lend moving forward will also inform the system as well as we move forward.
So you're looking at the payment history from Flow Lend and I assume
and regular bill payment patterns.
Yeah.
I assume it's postpaid customers from Flow. When you say bill payment, you mean people who use your network to pay their bills? As in JPS, NWC, that kind of thing?
So no.
Go ahead.
So it's a combination of, and again, that's for me the beauty of true financial inclusion. It's a combination of understanding and using the credit bureaus. So we will pull credit bureau data, and we will make that part of the credit decision. The other part of the credit decision is data from Flow, how you've paid your Flow bill, how you've used Flow Lend. So at this point in time, not using other services like JPS and so forth, but focused on the Flow client as they pay. And that's why we're starting off with the Flow client database. And that's the beauty of financial inclusion, right? Where what we have found traditionally is that if you didn't have credit history before that was found in the credit bureaus, the traditional lenders wouldn't lend. But similar to what you see in Africa, in Southeast Asia, where you're using non-traditional data based on patterns of payments outside of traditional loans to make credit decisions. So it's a combination of both to give a credit score, and then based on that credit score, there's that initial loan. And then, of course, as you pay that initial loan, that information feeds back into the loop for further decisioning.
Okay, so you are going to be using data from the credit bureaus, because I'm here thinking you can correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but I assume the vast majority of Flow customers are prepaid, not postpaid, at least prepaid on the telephone side.
But I will tell you, there has been a significant amount of customers who have used the loan services that we have as a business in terms of for credit or for data, for packages, etc., and for payments. So that also contributes to the rich history of credit bureaus. And as Elson said, we still tap into the credit bureau network. And that has billing data like JPS, courts, all these other things that come in. What we've done now is put that all together to enrich it, to make sure that, for instance, we make the best decisions on the spot in no time at all. Using the proprietary scoring mechanism, which has a little bit of AI in there in terms of how we select customers and how we make those decisions. And you're ready and waiting, right? In a matter of 10 minutes, you can get a decision.
So Flow is providing the tech, Myne is providing the platform, and is it that JMMB is the one that will be dispersing the loan?
But Jamie, go ahead, Elson. Sorry.
Yeah. So JMMB does a couple of things. So it is a full joint venture. So of course, all players within the joint venture have ponied up and brought capital in. The entity Myne Lend is the entity that will be disbursing the loan. What JMMB brings is its rich history of understanding and underwriting of credit. So that helps on the scoring side, as well as us being a regulated entity, along with Flow and Visa comes to bring that credibility that in many cases is lacking within this space, within this microfinance space. So it's a combination of JMMB as a shareholder, of course, injecting into Myne Lend, and then some of that credit expertise from the lending side that we're helping to build the platform, both credit and collections.
Okay, we have a lot of questions from our viewers. Let's start taking some of those questions.
Sure.
Let's see. I think you answered this one. Simba wanted to know, wait, so Myne Lend, it's kind of hard to say. Myne Lend, people are going to confuse it with Myland, is only a loan, or we can put money in my virtual wallet. So you already explained that it actually is a loan for now, and later on it will be a virtual wallet. Sean wants to know, will you be able to use the app to receive remittances or any income from the US?
That will happen in the first instance. We are focusing on the microlending space initially. But I mean, I think for us, as the product evolves, as we evolve as a business and grow, I think the sky is the limit. I think once you get into the space of being, and what we're doing right now, in becoming 100% digital lending agency, the sky is the limit. I think if you want to think of where we'd love to get to, maybe in our evolution, just think SoftBank in South America, where that's totally digital, but that's a bank and that's a banking license. But right now we're operating under the microcredit regulations, as we're an approved microlender under the Bank of Jamaica.
Couple people asking, what's the interest rate?
So we are competitive within this space, and it also depends on that same credit score. What we saw is that there were a lot
within the microlending space.
Within the microlending space, yes, it is. It is within the microlending space. Again, it's a fully unsecured loan. It is done within 10 minutes, and it's for a lot of people who have no credit history. So you're going to start to build that credit history, and the rate would then therefore be in line with what sort of credit score that you have within the market. But it is competitive.
Give us a range.
My belief is on the Jamaica side, because again, I'm looking at it, I think it's between 40 to 45% per annum.
Okay, well, we all know microloans come with higher risk and therefore higher interest rates. Marvin wants to know, how will the data sharing between those three institutions happen? Is there a new form I need to fill out to allow for that data sharing?
Excellent question, and it also comes back to confidentiality, right? So once we get it starts off right now where we will send an invitation to Flow clients. That invitation is the Flow client giving us permission to, one, use credit data, two, use their Flow data, and then based on that approval, bringing it into the system. So it is going to be a share of both the credit data and the Flow data based on approvals from the client. So we're also making sure that we're compliant with the Jamaica, the new app pass with respect to customer confidentiality, so that it is based on an approval from the client and then we pull the information that's used to make the credit decisions.
Limitless podcasts. When is the app coming to iOS users?
Okay, it's not coming this year. It will probably be released, I'd say, sometime next year. We're still working through with iOS in terms of how we get the approvals on that, and our team at MindHub are busy really pushing through that. But I think maybe at the next evolution of the app in terms of additional features that may come in time. But it's a focus area of ours. Our team want to make sure that we get it on iOS. Just at right now, in terms of the percentage of customers, especially in the micro lending space, the majority of them sit on Android.
Question from Sean. What happens if I have no account with Flow and I have no credit history? How does that work?
So at this point in time, if you're not on either the Flow account or the credit history, you won't get an invitation. So how we're launching it at this point in time is going to be via invitation phase. The next rounds would be then applications taken from clients, but we still need to have some form of information in order to make a credit decision. So my encouragement would then be, if you don't have credit history, then get a Flow account and start to build so that you can get that invitation. Because right now it is going to be based on a combination of Flow or credit history with a credit bureau, or combination of both.
Question from Marvin. How is the loan payback done?
So loan payback is done. Again, we try to ensure that the client convenience is up front. You can send the money in via ACH, or you can visit any of the any Jamaica, well, of course, JMMB money transfer, and there's just help me with the name of the entity.
I think it's Bill Express.
Bill Express, exactly. You can visit any Bill Express location or online and make payments. So via Bill Express online or at their offices, at any JMMB money transfer as well, or via a transfer into Myne Lend.
So is this launching in Jamaica first, or Jamaica only, or is it in other territories too?
We are launching in Jamaica first. We are looking at other Latin American markets, but also other Caribbean markets as well. I think what we want to do is make sure this becomes a staple for the region for lending. I mean, I know Elson spoke about interest rates. We still are tweaking that, but we are going to be in the sweet spot between what we believe is the market and what our customers can afford.
Next question comes from Toussaint, who wants to know, what is the competitive differentiator of Myne Lend from another microfinance institution?
Well, I would say everything. The fact that one, we can use non-traditional data to make a credit decision. I generally don't believe that there's anyone in the Caribbean that's doing that now. And definitely any of the existing micro credit institutions. The turnaround time within 10 minutes, a decision. The fact that your funds will be made available to you immediately once the loan is approved. The fact that that's going to be placed into a Visa-enabled wallet that you can tap and pay or cash out or use anywhere Visa is accepted. The joint venture really allows us to create a product that we think is second to none in the region. And as pointed out before, we're hoping that it really makes a very, very loud splash as we expand.
I'm glad
there's absolutely no need for you to go into any brick and mortar. That is the most convenient thing ever. You don't have to go into anywhere to write on a form, do a wet signature, all of these things. Everything is done through the app right on your phone,
including the disbursement. So walk me through how that part works, right? So you get the money on your phone, and it's a digital Visa card, you said, right? So is it that I'm just going to be tapping my phone at point of sale machines? Like how do I use it? How do I use the cash? Can I withdraw cash? How does that work?
Yeah, no, so absolutely. So again, however you want it to work, you now have the cash on an enabled digital card. And therefore, anywhere Visa is accepted, you can use that card. So you can tap, you can use it online. But if you wanted to cash out, you can visit any JMMB money transfer location, for which there are literally hundreds in Jamaica, and cash out if you wanted to to take it as cash. But for us, the value of having this wallet is that you don't need to take out the cash. You can if you want, but you don't have to. You can use it again in any way that you would use a Visa-enabled card.
So I
Any
would be tapping
enabled
my
phone.
phone.
You
So I
would
would
be
be
tapping
tapping my phone.
You would be tapping your phone, yeah.
Okay.
If
I didn't
you
know
don't want
that.
to cash out. If you don't want
I
to
didn't know
cash out.
that tech was here in Jamaica. So the regular point of sale machines can accept that form of payment?
As
Many of
long
them.
as the point of sale machine can take tap, it will work right on it. And
If it
and,
takes
and believe
the
me,
tap
because
cards, it can take the phone.
yeah, man, and because of
Yes.
the security of the app itself, it's not like, for instance, you pass your phone against a point of sale that it will just take out money. No, each transaction you make, you put in your PIN, and then you tap, and then it will make the transaction complete.
Ah, okay. Philip wants to know, is the aim to bring the unbanked into the formal banking arena?
I think that's the definition of financial inclusion, right? It's to allow the unbanked the opportunity to come into the formal banking arena. What we have found is that there's a large percentage of the unbanked is left unbanked simply because they don't have the opportunity to come in, whether it be they don't have a job that has specific cash flows coming in from a salary. They haven't had that first loan from a traditional bank. So the short answer is yes. It's a door that opens that allows the unbanked and the underbanked to come in and benefit from everything else that they can benefit from by having a banking relationship and having credit history and everything that goes with expansion and as you say, making money.
Marvin wants to know, what's the maximum lending amount?
I think the maximum limit is $150,000.
Yeah, correct.
So almost 1,000 US.
Almost 1,000. So Marvin can apply and deal with his own personal partner, if you understand. If you remember partner from what we have in Jamaica, right? You don't have the worries of anybody or anybody running away with a draw. You can get a loan from us and make your payments as you so desire.
Yep.
Harold's question is, will there be referrals done by Myne Lend to JMMB for other loan instruments?
At this point in time, there's nothing formal in place. So Myne Lend has its structure. It's a joint venture with as a separate entity. So there isn't any referrals. But absolutely, in the future, there will be some sort of cross sell. Well, we believe some sort of cross sell between the entity that would allow for moving from an unsecured loan to larger unsecured loan to secured loans, car loans, mortgages, and so on. And that's what, again, financial inclusion is about. That once you build that credit history, it's a wide open door.
And comment here coming from D, who says the merchants seem very reluctant to allow tapping via phone. Have you observed that?
I wouldn't say so. I think many persons want you to put in a PIN, but it's all dependent on the account that you have and how you set up your access. Some cards you can just tap and go, right? Some cards you have to tap and then put in your PIN. Otherwise, for this, it's so secure from the perspective that all you have to do is make sure when you're doing the transaction, you agree to do the transaction, you put in your PIN, you tap, and it deactivates it right after the transaction is complete, so that there's no openness for any fraud or anything like that.
And what we expect as well is there will be that demand push, right? So as we start to expand and we reach more and more customers have a wallet that requires tap and pay, we believe the merchants will fall in line. I mean, merchants want to sell. And it's that reason why we also team the micro lending side of the business with the tap and pay, so that we're empowering clients with their phone, customers with their phones, with funds in it. And if you are a merchant are not enabling tap and pay, then you're losing out to another merchant who does, because we now have Jamaicans who have microloans on their phone that they can use. So we believe it will drive that usage up further as we start to expand.
So one thing that I noticed though, Every time we talk about digital wallets, cashless transactions on the show, yes, you have your early adopters and your people who are gung ho, people like me. I love the convenience, but we always get a lot of negative comments. Like a lot of Jamaicans are still very skeptical of anything cashless. They want money in their hand. How do you overcome that reluctance of Jamaicans, especially given the demographic that I assume you're going to be targeting for microloans?
I think one of the things is that, and as we've seen wallets that have come and go in the past, one of the biggest challenges has been the funding of the accounts. I think we solved that immediately with the fact that this is a microlending app. The other challenge that many of these kind of apps would have faced is the fact that there wasn't a formal ecosystem that was out there in terms of merchants. This relies on the existing merchants that exist right across the length and breadth of Jamaica. All they need, and most point of sale machines have now been in tune to take tap transactions. So it opens up the world to anyone who has taken on a loan from us.
Yeah, and as well, just building on that, what we've seen, if you look at how this would have grown in, for example, in India with Paytm and so on, is you're absolutely right. There will be the early adopters that are happy to use that digital wallet, but the vast majority, and not just Jamaica, throughout the Caribbean, there is that reluctance to go cashless. Two things. One, because we are funding the wallet, it means then the first demand comes from I need a loan, and that's going to be the push, right? So the loan goes on the card, and you now have the card. You have the ability, if you choose, to cash out. But what we expect to happen, very similar to what we would have seen in India and across in Asia, is that as these late adopters come on board with that loan and they realize there's no real reason for me to cash out. I get the first loan, maybe I cash out the first loan, but the second time around, it was inconvenient. I don't need to do it. I can leave it in the wallet. And to me, that's where the adoption really starts to pick up, when people start to become comfortable with the fact that I have a digital wallet and I don't need to cash out. So we've done the ability to say, hey, we're going to fund it through the loan. And two, we've created the ecosystem for you to cash out. But more than likely, you'd realize that it's more convenient not to cash out, to keep it on the card and spend it at anywhere that full visa system is open and to the population.
Last question comes from Tamika, who wants to know what the requirements are for the loan.
So Tamika, just as we said before, as of now, it is going to be invitation only, or by invitation. I shouldn't say invitation only. So if you are a Flow customer, look out for that text message where we'll be inviting you to take a Myne Lend loan, and you check the box and download the app and move forward. The next step is, once we have that up and running and we have the invitations done, we open it up for an application to come in, and the application simply would be, Tamika, to complete a very short application form. Your name, your address, where you work, how much you earn, traditional stuff. But it will be relatively quick. Yeah, of course, ID information, exactly. And of course, from a security standpoint, we have some bio data review on using your phone, using the technology. And then with that, quick underwriting and quick approval. So first stage, invitation, second stage, application.
As you mentioned, security. What security measures do you have in place? Because you will be collecting some sensitive information.
And again, I think it also comes back to who are the partners behind it. So the partners behind this business already collect very confidential information. Flow does, JMMB does, and that partnership allows us to understand the importance of that confidentiality. So we've taken the knowledge and the seriousness of confidential information that we both have in the various sectors that we operate, and then use technology with things like tokenization on the card, using biodata security channels to get through to your phone, and inculcated that into the app. So absolutely, we understand the importance of it. We have been through our history of company, as who we are as companies, been very, very careful in ensuring confidential information remains confidential, and this will be no different.
I know I said last question, but last one, no, coming from Harold. No, not Harold, sorry, Marvin. Do you need internet connection to use the tap to pay?
You would have to be connected and online on a mobile phone. You'd have to have data to do that, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So a couple people, see, the questions keep coming in. Okay. Last.
We can take a few
It's a security question. No more after this, we're done. But this is a good one. Des, how are invitees protected from phishing?
So as indicated, it is by invitation, and if the invitation is coming from Flow through the Myne Lend app, anything that has to be done via the Myne Lend app, and therefore anything that's being requested from you, please know that we won't ask you for information via text message or via WhatsApp. It's an invitation to download the Myne Lend app and taking it through the Myne Lend app security. So that's what, through our marketing and advertising, we will be ensuring that clients are aware of that. And we are going to engage on a marketing education campaign so that potential clients understand how we will be approaching you for that invitation and what you should look for in moving forward with a Myne Lend loan.
All right. Well, thank you, Elson. Thank you, Stephen.